We begin tonight's service by making a transition from Shabbat to the new week, from the holy to the profane, from day to night, from the Jewish year into the high holy days. Sing with us as we mark this transition with Havdalah, the multi-wick candle which resembles Jews around the world coming together as one. The sweet spices reminding us of the extra soul we receive on Shabbat. The radiant flames which reflect on our nails as we begin the work of a new week. The blessing over distinction. Please join us on page 2 of the Gates of Forgiveness booklet. And when we get to Velaner, Veliva Samim, please find the words in your programs. We invite you all to please join us. all know this one. Join us, sing out, don't be shy. Shavua Tov, 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 Shavua Tov.
beautifully. Welcome to the sounds of Selichot. I am Cantor Elisa Cohn, and
I am Cantor Shoshana Kaikov.
In case you were guessing who was who. Here we are at the doorstep of the High Holy Days. We are in the very heart of the month of Elul, the season when the king goes walking in the fields. It is said that if you wanted the king to lend his ear, you had to find a reason to be asked to the palace. And if you were lucky enough to be invited, you had to engage in all kinds of protocols surrounding your attire, the way you approach the king, the formality of your language. But once each year, during this very month of Elul, we believe that the king goes walking in the fields. And during this special time, anyone can walk beside the king, informally, and bare their soul to him. Tonight, we are walking in the fields with God. They say the most mystical and auspicious time to pray is the nighttime. And so we gather tonight a little later than usual in this inspiring sanctuary to sing together and prepare ourselves spiritually for the High Holy Days. Tonight, as we walk beside the king, may we sing with Ruach, spirit, our souls. And that spirit will carry our prayers, le'ela, le'ela, higher and higher, lashamayim, heavenward. Please sing out, sway, close your eyes, feel all the feels unapologetically, nostalgia, joy, grief, introspection. Go wherever the music takes you. And if the Hebrew or English is challenging for you, sing on my lies. God knows the prayers of your hearts.
This evening, we'll be using the Gates of Forgiveness booklets. Some of the songs that we'll be singing this evening are not in that booklet, and for those, please refer to the song sheet you received on your way into the sanctuary. Throughout the service, we'll be sprinkling kavanot, or intentions or stories, taken from Jewels of Elul, a project created by contemporary Jewish singer and songwriter Craig Taubman. These intentions or stories are meant to uplift and help us to return to our best selves as we prepare ourselves for this season of repentance. Before we sing, we would like to thank the leadership of Beth-El Congregation, Beth Shalom Congregation, Congregation Beth Israel, and the Jewish Federation of Fort Worth and Tarrant County for making this service possible. A special thank you to Beth-El for hosting us, and for so generously sponsoring this special part of the weekend. For us personally, this service is a dream come true, as we've always envisioned creating musical prayer experiences together in the same city. And here we are, pinching ourselves in complete disbelief. I want to say thank you to our amazing musicians, some of you I've known since the year I moved here, for sharing your wonderful gifts with all of us this evening. Hans Grimm on the piano, Gary Kaplan, Pops on the bass, Doug Brown on clarinet, Jared Welch on the guitar, and Stuart Spoon on the drums. I also want to thank John Sauvé for helping so much behind the scenes with the sound and mics. And of course, without all of you, we could not have this service, so thank you all. At this point, I want to invite everyone to please join us for Return Again, Hashivenu, and you can find it in your song sheets.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
Please join us.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to what you are, return to who you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to what you are, return to who you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha, Ben Ashuva, Ben Ashuva, Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kekedem. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kashuda. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kekedem. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yavein Hashuva. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kekedem. Return again, join us. Return again, return. Let's hear you again. Return to the land of your soul, everyone. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to what you are, return to who you are. now it's our honor to invite Rabbi Zimmerman to share a kavanah, an intention from the Jewels of Elul project.
Write a letter. Address it to those you love. Put into this letter everything life has taught you, what you learned from childhood, your education, what you learned from marriage and raising children, what you learned from work, from your triumphs and your failures, what you learned from the death of loved ones and the path of mourning. What is the meaning, lesson, wisdom of your life? What's the message? Do this for 3 reasons. Do it for yourself. You deserve to know what life has taught you. According to a Jewish tradition, each human soul carries into the world 1 letter, 1 bite of God's message. You are a vessel of God's truth. Have you discovered and delivered your message? Write the letter for your loved ones. No one lives forever. And when your time comes, what a gift it would be to your loved ones to hear your voice, to know your wisdom. Do it for your soul. Modernity has brought us so many gifts, but one of the casualties of modernity is contemplation. Our ancestors lived in a much slower world with time to think and dream. And so now we live exhausted from day to day, from wonder, from appointment to project, to vacation and back again, without ever stopping to wonder why, without the chance to grow in wisdom, without connection to the truth within. The spirit grows old, the soul grows tired. No one is old who knows the truth of his or her existence, the purposes of life. Write the letter. Rabbi Ed Feinstein.
Thank you. As we know, this time of year we engage in cheshbon hanefesh, the accounting of our souls, our journey to returning to our best selves. And we want to know that God is listening and hearing our prayers. In this next piece, B'motza'ei Menucha, we ask God to metaphorically lean God's ear in just a little closer to us so we know God is really listening. And we plead for the Holy One to hear what is in our hearts. We turn to page 15 and we hope you will join us in singing the refrain for Lishmoa, B'motza'ei Menucha.
Shabbat has ended. Still we stand before you, O God of praises. Hearken from on high. O hear our song and our prayer.
Isaac, beloved son, who gave himself to you. Cover his children who cry to you this night with your protecting shield. Oh, hear our song and our prayer.
Pnei on page 17. Overlook our sins. Remember our need when you hear our plea. God of the hosts of heaven, spare us, gracious God, and cleanse all who cry out to you. Please join us, everyone. And now it's our pleasure to invite Michael Capon, President of Congregation Beth Shalom, to share another jewel of Elul.
The smoothest path is full of stories. Excuse me. The smoothest path is full of stones. One day, my daughter, Noah, who has physical disabilities, asked me if she could have a rock climbing party for her 12th birthday. I froze. I'd always been so careful to protect Noah from disappointment. I'd gone to great lengths to create parties where she wouldn't get left out or feel that her friends surpassed her. I said, "No, I don't think it's a good idea." "But why?" she pressed me. "It's too expensive," I said. But day after day, Noah kept pushing for the rock climbing party. Eventually, I gave in. But I was still worried. On the day of the party, Noah put on a climber's harness, and to my amazement, she pushed with her legs and pulled with her arms and boldly made her way up the wall. It wasn't easy, but she climbed and climbed. She was fearless, beaming with joy. I was so wrong about her. During the party, there was a boy about Noah's age He was too frightened to climb. His father was encouraging him, but he stood frozen in place. His muscles were strong, but his fear was stronger still. That day, my daughter taught me an invaluable lesson. Our greatest disability is fear. Our greatest strength is courage. In climbing, it is the smoothest surface that is the most treacherous. A rough, rocky landscape is fertile ground for ascension. If you want to rise up, don't fear the bumps. Turn every stone into a step. As I looked around the gym that day, I couldn't help but wonder if the key to a meaningful life was embedded in that rock wall. The beckoning stones gave my answer. The challenge in life is as simple as this. Do I stare at the wall or do I climb? Rabbi Nomi Levy is an author, speaker, and spiritual leader of Nashuva, a groundbreaking Jewish outreach community in Los Angeles.
Thank you. Well, now we sing together Guardian of Israel, Shomer Yisrael, on page 20 and 21 of your gray booklet.
Please join us.
Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Ve'ayovad, Ve'ayovad Yisrael, Ve'ayovad, Ve'ayovad Yisrael ha'omrim, ha'omrim, ha'omrim Shema Yisrael. Shomer Yisrael, Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Ve'ayovad Yisrael, Ve'ayovad Yisrael, Omrim Shema Yisrael. Shomer Goy Echad, Shomer Goy Echad, Shemor Sherit Echad. Ve'ayovad Goy Echad, Amrachatim Shemcha, Adonai. ha'omrim Shema
Our relationship with God is truly unique. Like a diamond, we treasure the many brilliant facets of God and God's relationship with us. We see God as our king, ruler, guardian, as we just sang, shepherd, parent, guide, keeper, friend, healer, protector, comforter, and the place. We also like to imagine that God cherishes the many facets of humanity. For example, we are God's people, children, possession, flock, vineyard, beloved. Ki Anu Amecha is a spectacular poem that highlights this special relationship and what we, God, and all of us mean to one another. Please join us on page 30. I'm pretty certain most of you know this melody. Of changing the mantles on the Torah to white, the color of the holy days, resembling purity, mortality, and sacredness. It is a distinction of sorts, a visceral reminder to prepare ourselves for the days of awe. The Torah mantles have all been changed over to white, except for one. And we invite presidents and representatives from each congregation, Michael Capon from Beth Shalom, Jean Posnock from Beth Israel, and Russ Schultz of Beth-El to join us on the bima to symbolically change the final Torah mantle as a symbol of the transition we make during this season. As they dress the Torah, we invite you to rise if you are able and join us in the singing of Adonai, Adonai, the haunting text and melody for God's 13 attributes. And you can find that on page 31.
Adonai, Adonai. No
Selichot. Thank you.
You may be seated, and it is now my pleasure. Actually, Russ, don't go too far. I'd like to invite Russ Schultz to share with us another jewel of Elul.
This is from the pen of Rabbi Laura Geller. The instructor filled an empty jar with rocks. Is it full? Then he poured a pitcher of pebbles into the jar. Full now? Next he poured sand. Full? Finally he poured water. Now is it full? What do you learn from this? One student answered, no matter how busy you are, you can always fit in one more thing. No, the important thing is you have to put the rocks in first. If you fill your jar first with pebbles, sand, or water, there will be no room for the rocks. Put the rocks in first, those important things that keep you grounded and centered. I'm the one who thought that you should always fit in one more call, one more meeting. Yet when I filled my jar with what seems urgent but not important, there isn't room for what I really need. Time for my life, time for my inner life, prayer, study, reflection, and time for my family. I need to get clear about what my rocks are and to promise myself to put them in first.
Thank you.
Hear our voice, O God. Be kind to us. Show us compassion and accept our prayers with love. Shema Kolenu is on page 33, and we invite you to rise if you are able.
Help us, O God, to return to you, and then we will surely return. Renew our days as of old. Hear our words and take them to heart, O Holy One, who hears our innermost thoughts. Please do not cast us away from you. We need you. Please be with us.
O God, do not forget us in our old age, when we are frail and when we are weary. Do not abandon us when we need you most. Be near to us.
God, we would wait for you forever because we know you will answer our call.
ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו.
You may be seated.
In our world, there is such a great need for healing of the mind, body, spirit, the heart. Please join us as we sing together Mishaberach Lacholim, a prayer for all those in need of healing. Blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. Bless and heal all those who are ill. We invite you to direct your prayers to all those you know who currently need healing.
May God be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be renewed. May God grant them all a speedy and complete recovery of body and spirit. And let us all say, Amen.
Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu yivarech v'yirapeh et hacholim El
And now it's our pleasure to invite Jean Posnock from Beth Israel to the Bima to share a final jewel of Elul.
This is a meditation by Rabbi Neil Cooper. It is entitled Note to Self. Self. Each year you use the high holidays as a reminder to take stock of the year which has passed. What has occurred? How did you grow? What has changed? Knowing how busy and increasingly forgetful you are, I take this opportunity to remind you not to overlook 3 moments. Number 1, reading an EKG in his office, my doctor said to me, "You may have an arrhythmia. You need to see a cardiologist." Several doctors and 2 stress tests later, the results came back. Your heart is strong, no arrhythmia. Do you remember how you felt upon receiving that news? You said, "I dodged a bullet." Number 2, as you drove across that intersection, a car came from your left, sped up to run the red light. His car missed hitting yours by a fraction of a second. Don't forget what you said. "I could have been killed." Number 3, your daughter got married. As you stood with her beneath her chuppah, just before you started crying, do you recall what you thought? You thought, "I can't believe this is happening. She is so beautiful. I never thought this day would come." Carry these moments with you as you cross over into the new year. Remember how fragile and tentative your life is. A diagnosis, a speeding car. Your life could have ended. Your daughter's wedding. Your year has been filled with blessings of life, health, and unparalleled joy. Dear self, do not forget to be grateful. Don't forget to thank God. You deserve none of these. Many worthy people have not been so blessed. These were gifts for which you must give thanks. Just thought I would remind you from me.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's our honor now to invite Rabbi Sperling from Congregation Beth Israel to share an alternative confessional.
And as he's walking up, I'll just explain in between some of the readings that Rabbi Sperling will be sharing with us, we will all come together to sing Ve'al Kulam, and I'm pretty certain most of you know it, so please join us.
I need to speak these words aloud and to know that the universe hears them. I get caught in old patterns and paradigms. I'm stubborn and hard-headed. In the last year, I have missed the mark more than I want to admit. Forgive me, source of all being, for the sin I have sinned before you, by allowing my body to be an afterthought too often and too easily, by not walking, running, leaping, climbing, or dancing, although I am able, by eating in my car and at my desk, mindlessly and without blessing, and by not embracing those who needed it and not allowing myself to be embraced, by not praising everybody's beauty with our quirks and imperfections.
Ve'al kulam ela selichot selach lanu mechalanu kapelanu.
By letting my emotions run roughshod over the needs of others, by poking at sources of hurt like a child worrying a sore tooth, by revealing my heart before those who neither wanted it nor needed to see it, by hiding love out of fear of rejection instead of giving love freely, by dwelling on what's internal when the world is desperate for healing, by indulging in intellectual argument without humility or consideration, by reading words of vitriol, cultivating hot indignation, by eschewing intellectual discomfort they might prod me into growing, by living in anticipation and letting anxiety rule me, by accepting defeatist thinking and the comfortable ache of despair.
Ve'al kulam ela selichot selach lanu mechalanu kapelanu.
By not being awake and grateful despite unaccountable blessings, by not being sufficiently gentle with my actions or with my language, by being not pliant and flexible but obstinate, stark, and unbending, by not being generous with my time, with my words, or with my being, by not being kind to everyone who crosses my wandering path. For all of these, eternal source of forgiveness, help me know myself to be pardoned. Help me feel in my bones that I'm forgiven. Remind me always, already, at one with you.
ועל כולם אלא סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלא סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
Thank you. I invite you all to please join us on page 39 as we rise, if you can, and the ark remains open for Avinu Malkeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chol aleinu, ve'al aleinu, v'tapeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kali Dever, Vecherever Rav, Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kali Kotzar, Umastin, Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Katvenu b'sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Chadish Aleinu, Chadish Aleinu, Shana Tova. כי אין בנו עשים.
Now, you may be seated. We invite Rabbi Zimmerman and Kim Factor to the bima for a closing benediction and the sounding of the shofar.
Final benediction written by Kohenet Ilana Joy Strait. Return us to ourselves. Return us to each other. Return us to the earth. Return us to our land, the land beneath our feet. Return us to this moment. Return us to our knowing, remembering that we know. Return us to our rhythms. Return us to our drums. Return us to sleep in the middle of the night. Return us to our deepest desires, our shared loves, our clear visions. Return us to our bodies, to our breath, to breathing easily. Return us to knowing how beautiful we are. Return us to ourselves. Return us to each other. Return us to our good questions, our bare feet, our brilliant minds, our singing voices. Return us to falling in love with ourselves and with each other. Tekiah. Shivarim. Cheruah. Tekiah Gedolah.
This evening,